exactly what I want to talk about today, but this one is more of this is a diary entry, captain's log, whatever. Sometimes the information comes through, there's inspiration to really speak on something that has become clear, and that's fun and exciting, and then it's just me, then it's just feelings, and sorry. And I think we've had another wave of fear. It's not just fear, it is, it's hurt, ultimately. We're I'm searching for the words to articulate this, because what we're facing is not just fear, ultimately it's pain. It's a pain wave, I would say. It's just that it's mixed in with the fear, because the fear started in the first place as a response to pain, as a response to hurt, to the feeling of hurt, I don't want to exactly use the word betrayal, because that has maybe a little bit leans into a narrative context, but it is it's a confusion as to why this hurt would happen. An awareness that we are taken care of and we're loved, and that everything is a part of the same beating heart. And it's a misunderstanding about the processes taking place in this realm. And how intense this experience is. A misunderstanding of the reality that what we are is open, is space, is vulnerable, is constantly sensing, constantly receiving, experiencing. And not only is that natural, that's really wonderful. As we receive experience and we taste it, as we experience it, we form preference. We learn to discern qualities of experience, to pick apart the flavors, to hear the individual notes, the tones, the pitch. And that naturally develops our own subjective preference as individuated being spaces on this great sort of ocean of conscious being. And as that preference develops, automatically then there is an asking. As there is a refinement of preference, there is a refinement of the quality of experience that flows in. We start to ask, we ask in a new way because of what we've just experienced. New space opens up into which new experience is able to flow. We feel that, we continue that journey. It's this just continuous refinement of preference, and it is to the mutual flourishing of all existence. But a lot of that is contrast. We have to taste things we don't like, and so we have to experience not only at the core level that what we are is open, and that the intensity of sensation could be perceived as hurt. It could be perceived as something that hurts, because actually pain and pleasure are very close. They're very close. Intense pleasure, depending on how you perceive it, could be experienced as pain. Really, at that pinnacle, there is no difference. But in addition to intense experience being potentially perceived as hurtful, which is that causes a great deal of confusion and defensiveness created by ego and walls us off against experience in general. There is also, I see, experience of dislike, of hurt as a flavor, as not just experiencing, but as a flavor, right, of experience. It's more surface level, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have value in experiencing. The same way that there is a surface level experience of happiness, but also joy is experiencing. You can also perceive experiencing as a joyful thing. Joy sort of exudes from that place. But the surface level hurt, this basic just to see, to feel something and say, I don't like that. To feel, again, the heartbrokenness of it. All of the painful experiences, all of the experiences of contrast that we have built up over millennia, lifetimes of not just human experience, physical experience on this planet, maybe even past that. I don't know. Maybe. We are receiving and realizing not just pain, but deliberately inflicted pain. All of the moments, all of the collective experiences of, again, not just humanity, but Earth. All of the collective experiences of betrayal. And of course, that is only ever done unconsciously. But all the same, it happens, and all the same, it hurts. And if we aren't willing to sit and feel that hurt, we don't collectively learn what it feels like. We don't collectively ask for something other than that. We have to feel it. We have to go through the grieving in order for the other side, for the asking to take place. And then to step into acceptance, into trust, to actually let that thing go. We have to feel it first. And again, individually, collectively, as humans, and collectively as nature on this planet, there is a metric shit ton of grief that we have not processed. So these waves are that. They're waves of grief. They're waves of fear. It's a reckoning, and that has never been some figure in the sky punishing us, bringing us to justice. This is energy. This is physics. This is the way that it works. Everything is conscious. And the laws that govern this just are what they are. They were not designed. Nobody made them, God or otherwise. They are what they are. The desire of consciousness to experience and to grow, it just naturally organizes. It is brilliant beyond design, brilliant beyond conscious design. It is simply the way it works, that that energy cannot go anywhere. That what you receive helps you determine what you put out. But if you're not receiving, then you don't know what you want to put out. You're not allowing yourself to be naturally shifted into that place. It is a natural process. You taste contrast, you naturally experience a desire for something that you like, for the version that you like. You can call that the improved version. It is improved in relation to your personal subjective preference. And that is exactly the way that it works. That's the way it's meant to be. That is perfect. Everything is paradoxical, and there is one orientation of this paradoxical landscape that works, and one that doesn't. One that simply doesn't, because it's built on an unstable foundation. So we have all this contrast that we haven't processed, all of these experiences of dislike. You know, the first time anybody slapped anybody. Consciousness didn't know, we didn't know what that was like. We were just trying things. We have to try things, we have to taste things, we taste everything. And in that moment, if we had sat really deeply, but consciousness wasn't developed enough to be able to do this, okay? We were children, we were babies. If we had been able to, in that first moment, receive the slap, feel the hurt of that, not just physically but emotionally, the sting of, ow, I really don't like that. That hurts, that makes me feel, I feel sad. I feel sad. I feel sad. I feel vulnerable. There's just this deep hurting. I'm so sad that would happen. I'm so sad that you would do this to me. We're not telling a story about it, about, talking about the character of anyone in this. It's just the pure emotional response. I don't like that. That doesn't feel good. If we had enough consciousness, presence, awareness in that moment to just stay there, then that energy could have been absorbed as information, not turned into a story, fully received, allowed, imparted in full to the rest of us, and then let go of. If we grieved that experience without turning it into, this is what we did, this is what happened, we coiled it up, we bound it up in this story, we twisted it around, and it hasn't been able to move on. We haven't been able to move on. If we hadn't done that, if we hadn't rejected the experience, which is what happened, then yeah, things would be a lot different. Then we wouldn't have carried on slapping each other, much less stabbing each other, beating each other with clubs, shooting each other with guns, blowing each other up. That's not even the least of it. We wouldn't have progressed to this point because the slap would have been enough to go, oh, when I strike you, when you strike me, that hurts, and it hurts in a deep way that feels like betrayal, and I don't like that feeling. And if I stay there, you, other side of me, would pick up on this feeling and go, oh, that doesn't feel good. I don't feel good doing that because I don't like the way that feels to me. If you can imagine that this sort of partnership in yourself where there is one energy that is projective, right? One energy that is the expedition, the one that is trying things, the one that is creating the experience, calling forth the experience, and delivering it. And then there is the portion of the energy that is receiving the experience. It's like these are your two eyes, your two hands. But the one that is delivering the experience doesn't feel. It doesn't feel at first. It is dependent upon, it is totally reliant upon the other portion of this energy that is fully receptive, that is fully feeling, which doesn't send out, it receives. To genuinely receive that experience with integrity, that means just not turning it into something else, letting it be exactly what it is. To receive that experience, feel it, and then that feeling is given, is imparted to the projective half. And that's how the projective portion learns what it's even doing. So, I mean, you throw something out, the other part of you catches it and says, that's blue, that's the color blue. And now suddenly you can see the color blue, right? It's kind of like that. A lot more nuanced, but kind of like that. So then you have something, this part of you is trying things and it tries a slap. And the other part of you receives the slap and feels it and goes, ouch, that hurts. I don't like that. The projective portion receives that feeling now. Now it's able to feel pain. It didn't know what pain was. It didn't know what hurt was until it was received by the rest of you. And because it was received honestly and openly, the projective portion learns, ouch, that hurts. It hurts when I do that. It hurts when I do that, because all feeling is mutual. Pain is mutual. Hurting is mutual. The one doing the hurting is hurting. Can you feel that? There is no exclusivity. There's no separation here. That does not happen. The one who is doing the hurting is hurting, but without allowing the receptive portion of energy to fully experience. They have numbed, they have cut themselves off, they are unaware of their own hurting. This is how the masculine energy has gotten totally out of hand. It doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't know. It's completely flying blind. And it's basing everything on numbers. It doesn't know what it's doing. It is not aware of the pain that it's causing. So now it is coming to reckon. It's facing the reckoning. All of this collective pain that has been built up, that was not received. Okay, because, and I don't know the details. I'm still working this out in my feeling of, perhaps, in the first moment, again, of this nascent consciousness that we are, that hurting happened, a story came in. That was when a story came in. What would have just been a natural experience, not a wrong thing. It's not a wrong thing to experiment, to try the slap. You have no idea what this is. You have no idea what pain is. That's valuable information to find out that pain can be inflicted, that hurt can be inflicted in this way. It's not a wrong thing, but my feeling, my theory is that pain was received by the feminine half, right, the receptive half, that pain was transmitted to the masculine half which perpetrated it, and something went wonky there. It was terrified. Fear happened. This experience of pain that it had created suddenly a story began. The first story. The story of wrongness. The first story of wrongness. This first sliver of doubt that slipped in that said, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have. That was wrong. That was bad. Instead of just natural exploration, the partner willingly agreeing, the rest of you willingly agreeing to this, knowing this is how expansion happens. Yes, I feel hurt. But there wasn't blame there. You understand? The feminine, the receptive side, doesn't blame the projective side for this first experience of pain. The discovery of pain was tremendously important, but it got twisted. When the feminine received hurt and transmitted to the masculine that hurts, the masculine rejected that experience in themselves. The masculine rejected its own internal sort of feminine feeler. This is why the yin and the yang each has a seed of the other, right? So it's predominantly this, predominantly projective, predominantly receptive, but there is a seed of each so that it can connect together, so that the projective can be received by the receptive, and the receptive can then project what it has just received into the projective, and that can be received by it. But it takes a lot of receptivity to allow an experience of hurt, to allow pain. And because the masculine energy is dominant in the projective, something went wonky. It was unable to receive that experience objectively without judgment. Something happened. Ego came online. The story began that what had just been done, this hurt, was wrong and shameful and bad, and the masculine energy has been running from that initial experience of pain ever since. It is so ashamed of the initial pain that it inflicted, right, upon feminine, not knowing what it was doing. Feminine fully understanding of this in an intuitive way, okay, because it just is. It has this deep connected realization of this is how everything happens. The contrast is important. Tasting the pain, experiencing pain, discovering that is important. You didn't do something wrong. I'm just telling you what it felt like. You don't need to feel bad about that. This whole illusion, this story, this concoction of guilt, of shame, it's totally unnecessary, and it's keeping you from feeling what I'm showing you. I am showing you what it feels like to feel hurt. I'm not trying to hurt you. Perhaps that, too, it all gets mixed up, mashed up. The masculine receives the feeling of hurt and goes, ow, what are you doing? And then it's this mixture. You know how shame and blame, internally, they ricochet back and forth, right? You feel hurt, and first you feel offended, right? There's the offensive, there's the, ow, I can't believe you did that to me. And then it turns defensive. It bounces back and forth. Both shame and blame are attempts to get away from experience, just purely experiencing hurt. It's my fault. It's your fault. It's my fault. No, it's your fault. You should never have done that. No, it's my fault. I really should have known better, and I always do this. And no, it's your fault. You should know better. You always do this. And no, it just, internally, that's what happens. That's what's been going on in the masculine energy from this very first instance. Because it didn't have the capacity to receive this at the time. Nothing went wrong. That little seed, that little dot of receptive energy within the projective, it wasn't strong enough to take this. The rest of it just sort of seized and clenched and tightened it up, and that hole became smaller. And it's been tensed against this ever since. And now the masculine energy is facing the reckoning. It's coming to grips with the reality of having caused pain. And it has to feel the pain that it has caused. It's time for it to feel the pain that it has caused. It's not a punishment. It's not, I'm going to drag you by the ear over and look what you've done. Look at what you've done. It's not that. It is totally neutral. It is devoid of judgment. This is just the facing of reality. It's that kind of look. You have to look. You have to see. It's time to see clearly. It's time to stop looking away. You can't. The shit has filled the room. It's on every wall. There is nowhere that you can look that is away from this anymore. It's here. It's time to see it. It's time to feel it. You can't run from this. Not any longer. You just can't. And the masculine energy is afraid to look because it has built up this story of shame. It's ashamed. It's deeply ashamed of the pain that it's caused. Because again, it has this story, this narrative that it's wrong, that pain is wrong, that it should never have done that in the first place. How could it know? How could it know? We don't know what anything is until we try it, until it is. There's no wrong there. There's no it shouldn't have happened. And that's what the feminine has been saying this whole time. Nothing has gone wrong. I don't blame you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not trying to get revenge. These are all stories that the masculine has, again, created, trying to escape from that hurt. Okay, I didn't deliver you that to upset you. I'm telling you the truth. That hurt. Whatever you just did, that hurt. I am the censor. I am delivering the information to you of what I have just sensed based on what you just did. We do this dance because it's how we grow. It's how we experience the world. I'm not telling you this to make you mad, to make you feel bad. All of that is made up. I'm just telling you the truth. So take that information truthfully and feel it. And based on that feeling, decide what you want to do next. Do you want to do that again? Now that you know what it feels like, do you want to do that again? I'm not judging you. I'm asking honestly, is this what we want to do? Now that we know what this feels like, do we want to keep doing this? If you eat a shit sandwich and it tastes like a shit sandwich, do you want to eat another one? Really? Maybe if you were tricking yourself, if you were so closed off to that experience in the first place, if you went, why did I do that? That was so dumb. Oh my God, I should never have done that. No, I can't take the feeling of deflation. It wasn't a shit. It was fine. It was fine. Actually, it was fine. You're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. You're having some other you're hysterical. Da-da-da-da-la-la-la-la-la-la. This is fine. This is steak. This is high class, like caviar. Yeah, of course I want more. How could you question my authority? Can you see how this turns into all of the grandstanding that ego, that masculine energy is known for? It's all based on this misunderstanding of like, it did a thing, turns out that thing didn't feel good, and instead of receiving that energy, but it wasn't capable of receiving it yet. It wasn't capable. It didn't have the balance with feminine. It didn't have its own allowance of internal feminine energy to receive this and go, whoa, that was a lot. I did not like that. I didn't like that. And to leave it there, to not create a story from this, to just go, wow, I didn't like that. I am so glad to know I didn't like that. not doing that one again, not eating any more shit sandwiches. I can just cross that one off the list. Let's move on. So not that. What's the next thing that is far from that? That's going to be the next thing we create. And we're going to keep, like we got the really intense one out of the way. We can just keep building from here, and we build in a gentler way, right? We did the intense contrast. We really didn't like that intensely. Now we can move. We don't have to go that far into the deep end again, because we did it. But if we don't acknowledge that that's what happened, then we do go back there. We keep going back there. We keep eating the shit sandwich. We keep jumping into the deepest, darkest part of the ocean, trying to convince ourselves that we like it when we don't, and we're not supposed to. It's not wrong. You're allowed to dislike pain and hurt. That is a part of the evolution of life, of the guidance system. We touch fire and go, ouch, that hurts. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that again. If we didn't allow that learning to happen, we would just keep setting ourselves on fire. And you know what? That's what we're doing in different ways, because we won't allow ourselves to acknowledge that we don't like it. We've built up this stupid story of like, oh no, it's like noble or something. I don't know. It's noble to hurt. It's noble to feel the pain, to inflict it upon myself and other people. I'm purifying you. Yeah. I'm making you tough. I'm making you strong and resilient and better. That's what I'm doing. We like pain, yes. Because at a deep level, we do enjoy experiencing deeply. And again, there's that deeper part that knows that pain and pleasure are really very close. They're really the same. But at the surface level, that is just, we're not talking about experiencing, we're talking about experience. Pain is pain. We don't like it. There. We like feeling. And feeling can feel painful. And the feeling of pain is it is a good thing and a joyful thing to feel. But it is so important. I struggled with this. It is so important to acknowledge the preference, the personal preference, to let yourself feel surface level pain, say, ouch, that really hurts. I don't like that. You have to allow that. Then you can reach the level of, oh, I am so glad to know that I don't like that. Actually, it feels really good to feel my preference. Can you see the steps deeper? The pain, the preference, the acknowledgement of feeling preference. There's appreciation that just happens here. It's not manufactured. It's not called forth. It just happens. Surface level experience of contrast. Preference is formed. I don't like it. Oh, that's actually really cool that just formed preference in me. And I feel grateful for that. And I really like disliking this. I can actually feel energy moving from this. And I can feel that I'm expanding in another direction. I'm becoming bigger. I'm becoming wider, stronger in a different way. Underneath that even is I really like this whole process. I really do like feeling. I like tasting. I like experiencing. And now I'm just stably incorporating, encompassing this whole cycle of creation as, yes, something that I like, but a critical component of what I like in all of this is disliking. If I don't allow myself the dislike, I can't get to the deeper level of like. And then I just keep recreating the surface level because I'm not admitting to myself what I at the personal preference that is so important, like and dislike. If I don't take ownership of my preference, I can't allow that cycle to complete. I'll just keep recreating the same things because I'm not allowing my preferential information to update. So it's, you get the same sandwich over and over because you haven't told me of anything about it yet. You're not admitting to yourself. You're not delivering the pure energetic response that is looked for. And then you feel very surface level. You lose this feeling of connection to the depth, to the awareness of the whole thing. You start to feel like you're on a treadmill. Why does the same shit keep happening? Because you're not openly, honestly experiencing it and allowing yourself to feel the preference that naturally forms as a part of honest experience. Once you do that, the deeper levels open up to you and you just sort of fall into them. You don't have to do anything. But it's like a series of doors. If you're not open here, then you can't reach down here to the experience of liking the dislike of the hurt. So then seeing that, I like experiencing contrast, but I like that contrast is contrast. I like that I don't like it. There are layers to this. It doesn't take over and change the dislike into a like. It's underneath. It's foundation upon which the dislike, exists. And is allowed to. And it's a good thing. Anyway, I really have to go. I'm already late now. But the waves of grief, of pain, of fear, I know I've said this several times. I just want to reiterate it for myself. They will keep coming. This is the reckoning of masculine energy. Tasting what it has created. Okay. It's not a punishment. It's not a taste of your own medicine, bucko. It's not that. It does not know what it has done. It does not know what it has created. It's been placing orders from the kitchen. It's been making food in the kitchen, and it hasn't eaten any of it. It doesn't know that it's all oversalted. It doesn't know. It doesn't know that it's a little more extreme than that, but it's time for it to sit down and taste what it has done. And it has a really hard time with that. That's why we're in this situation. But it can't run. And as the feminine has expanded, here's the other amazing thing. As the feminine has expanded, because it's just gotten bigger and bigger, the internal feminine seed of the masculine has also grown, but it's resisted it, which is why it has had to double down on trying to contain its own feeling. But it can't. The feminine has grown strong enough that the internal feminine seed of the masculine cannot be ignored. There's enough of a buildup, there's been enough growth on this side that it is time for this side to expand. It can't stop it. It can't keep the feeling out anymore. It could constrict that dot to a tiny little hole and go, no, la, 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 I'm not feeling, nope, not happening. It can't do that. So there are a lot of people feeling for the first time, feelings that they didn't know existed. And it's predominantly pain. It's predominantly pain. And the mind is going to keep overreacting, and trying to shut it down because that's habitually what it's done, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The waves are too constant. Okay, we can't stay above water. We can't keep the treading water up and coming back to the surface. This is why people feel like they're drowning. This is why I felt like I was drowning. It makes more sense to me now. Because I was still resisting just the pure feeling. There was still too much story around it and what it meant and why and blah, blah, blah. It's just waves of feeling that we have sent out are ricocheting back. We've sent enough of them out that they're coming back in high frequency, high intensity. They're not going to stop. They will not be ricocheted off again. It's time for all of the waves to come in and move through so that they can finally come to rest, and new waves can form directly based on that experience. It's all informative and valuable and perfect. It's perfect. It really is. So just when the grief comes in, just every time, as much as possible, stick with the feeling. Do not move into a story of what this means, why it's here. Don't concoct a greater reality for it. Don't turn it into an entity by giving it a name and a past and a motive. Just let it be the feeling. Feel it. And if there is any response, let there be response. Let there be preference. Just say, ow, this hurts. I don't like this, and stay there. Or if it's the other side of it, which tends to be easier, but the mind will still take and twist those sensations as well. Then it's, oh, this feels good. I like this. But you don't have to try. You don't have to try to navigate to go anywhere. Just let what comes in come in. Let it be there. Don't give it a time limit. Don't try to schedule it. Right? That's very inconvenient for society, I know, that we're all feeling things that we can't push off or save for a later date when it's more convenient or appropriate. Let it come through. Let it happen organically. Let pain be felt. Just stay with the hurt. Let the sensation be there purely. If there is screaming, if there's crying, if there's motion, whatever there is, just let it move through. Let it be heard. Let it come home. It's trying to come home. It's been away from home a long damn time. Let it come home. Let it find home in you. And you, my friend, are here. The only place that it can go. You're not threatened by it. It doesn't change you. It doesn't change you being here. Right? So you're safe to feel anything that is felt. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to close yourself against it. It's not about understanding, like comprehending. You do not need to understand to accept. You do not need to understand to accept that this is here. Just let it be here. Reach for the deeper place of trust in yourself. This is here and it's okay. That's all. Okay, now I really gotta go. But I love you. Take it easy.